So today I'm going to talk a bit about the basics of docking. Docking successfully involves spatial awareness of traffic around you, your own ship and its dimensions as well as its maneuverability, and the use of lateral thrusters. I'm at Jameson Memorial in Shinrarta Desra, and I'll begin by docking my Federal Corvette with the station. I'm going to throttle up to within 7.5 kilometers and request docking, aiming the ship some distance in front of the mail slot at the station to give me the distance to line up for final approach. You'll also see that I make sure rotational correction is on, because the ship will match the rotation rate of the station once we're through the mail slot this way, making it much easier to dock. As I line up for final approach, I'm making sure to use my lateral thrusters to keep myself centered enough to clear the mail slot's top and bottom margins, as well as rolling slightly so I don't jam myself into the mail slot at an awkward angle. I'm using a mouse and keyboard, and I've got my lateral thrusters mapped to a 12-button grid on the side of my mouse, which makes using them quite simple. Now that I'm through the mail slot, I can use the indicator at the top left of my radar circle to show where pad 9 is located, which is immediately under the ship. I roll to get level with the pad and proceed forward just until the blue dot reaches the margin of the indicator circle. Then, using lateral thrusters, I gently thrust down until a docking window appears over the radar, making slight adjustments with the thrusters to center myself on the docking pad. Here I'm using an Imperial Courier, which is much more nimble and tiny compared to my Federal Corvette. The lateral thrusters on smaller ships are much more sensitive, so I tend to use them in little bursts when docking or leaving a station. Once again, I make sure rotational correction is on, and as the pad releases the ship, you can see how easily the lateral thrusters shove this little ship into the air. I roll to align the ship with the mail slot and proceed forward. The station has very little traffic, but I'm still keeping an eye out for ships incoming through the mail slot. Such a small ship makes it easy to clear the mail slot's margins, and once clear I can throttle up and boost away. Now I repeat the docking procedure, requesting docking access through the Contacts tab, already lined up. I'm approaching quite quickly towards the mail slot, so I throttle down to something more sensible, adjusting my roll and using lateral thrusters to help stay aligned. Using the indicator bubble as a guide, I move forwards and carefully lower the ship with the lateral thrusters at the same time until the pad number comes into view. Once I'm sure I'm over the pad, I push the ship down more until the docking HUD appears, centering the ship on the pad with the lateral thrusters. I should add that the numbers at the bottom of the pad indicate your left to right, forward to backward, and height distances. Many ships have a wide vertical margin to engage the docking mechanism, so you can keep an eye on the numbers when adjusting your ship's attitude. Finally, let's try docking a ship with poor maneuverability, the Imperial Cutter. The Cutter has weak lateral thrusters and is massive, but it can move in a straight line at high speed while being a chore to slow down. Lifting off from the pad takes time as the thrusters work to move the considerable bulk of this ship. Once again, I roll to line up the mail slot and head close to dead center out of it. The cutter's dimensions are big, so I like to give myself plenty of room when leaving a station. Once I'm past the station grill and with no traffic, I can throttle up and boost away. The cutter certainly doesn't waste time as it picks up speed rapidly, but those weak lateral thrusters mean it maneuvers like a house. Now let's try to dock this thing. You can see how weak the lateral thrusters are as I try to orient the ship to approach the station. I request docking, and like when flying the Federal Corvette, I aim at a point in front of the station mail slot to give myself a wide margin of error when adjusting for final approach. You can also see how hard it is to lose speed when you drop the throttle on this ship. Docking takes some practice and knowledge of your ship to get it right. You should know how maneuverable and how big your ship is so you don't end up bumping into something or someone, and you should map your lateral thrusters in a way that's intuitive and easy to use for you.